So Finding Dory for me is just one of those sequels where you just go, was it needed? And then you also go, did we actually learn anything new from this? And then you go, no, and not really. The expectations were probably too high for this film, and the sequel just didn't live up to what was one of the greatest Pixar movies of all time in Finding Nemo, and the whole problem was, it wasn't Finding Nemo.
Keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming.
The problem wasn't necessarily Dory looking for her parents and having the memory loss stuff that this movie covers. That wasn't the problem at all. It was a problem where most of the film felt like it was quite boring, quite bland, and nothing much really happened in the entirety of the film. Yes, I liked the story. I think the story was a good idea, but wasn't delivered in the right manner, and it just came across quite good in parts of the film, and then quite boring in others, till you just can't wait for the film to end. And if you're getting to that stage, then I just don't think it can be necessarily classed as what you would call a classic or even a great Pixar film. And for me, I do think it's one of the weakest Pixar sequels that has actually been made by Disney Pixar, let's be honest. The boringness could be attributed to not being a massive threat in this film. What I mean by that is that if you look at Finding Nemo, for example, you have sharks, jellyfish, you have fish with the light that hangs down, you have those threats that are going to try to stop Marlin from not intentionally stopping him from getting to his son, but are obstacles in his way to getting to his son, in which are great obstacles and great threats, and you feel that he's had to swim many miles and had to cross dangerous parts of the ocean just so that he could save his son. In this one, it seems that we got to the place straight away and way too early in the film, where it's like, oh, we need to look for his parents, right? Well, apparently they're in this part of the world. Okay, so we'll go with the turtles pathway that Marlin learned in the last film, and they used that and took a shortcut straight to the place they needed to go. So it took away that threat levels of getting to their parents, getting to see Dory's parents for the first time. And I think that is the cool edge that brought and made Finding Nemo what it is. It's not necessarily his kid going missing, it's what it takes to get his kid back. I think even the newest characters like Hank, Destiny and Bailey were decent characters. I'm not going to say the shit, because they weren't, and I think Hank had some lovable qualities about him and was a likeable character. However, I must say, compared to the last film, the side characters were pretty weak and pretty side characters, because if you look at Gil, he seemed to have a hard edge to him that Willem Defoe really nailed that character down to a T. And you also had Bruce, which felt like a huge threat, but was a nice side character to add in, because he was also a threat, but he also wanted to be their friend, but it was a weird sort of dynamic. He was a bit dodgy. And these ones were like, yeah, we're all your friends. Hank was one of those that as soon as he got to know Dory and knew what he wanted to do, oh, yeah, we're now friends. But it was one of those where I feel that those likeable characters weren't moment-making characters like Bruce and that Gil was. And also, the ending at best was average. Was really average. Okay, Dory meets her parents. Obviously, you have the thing where, oh, we've got to save her because she's on a tank to somewhere else now because she managed to save her parents, sort of took their place or whatever, and it just got really fucking awkward, in my opinion. And it just was unnecessary. You're waiting for the film to end. And when they all got into the sea, it was like, oh, thank God the film can wrap up, I suppose, because it just felt like a really drawn-out film. And obviously, yeah, Nemo's not, in my opinion, the greatest Pixar movie of all time. It's in the conversation, but it's not the greatest. And that's because parts of even that film become a little bit stale at times, where you're just looking for something to happen, but there's enough threat in that film for that movie to be exciting and known as a classic and in the conversation for one of the greatest Pixar movies of all time. This one isn't even in that conversation. It's nowhere near that conversation. In fact, it's in a different conversation for maybe one of the worst Pixar movies of all time, in my personal opinion. Obviously, let us know your thoughts down in the comments down below, but that's my genuine opinion on Finding Dory. Before we jump back into this video, guys, please do us a massive favour and smash that subscribe button, because you do not want to miss a thing. This week, next week, and the week after, because we've got tons and tons of content planned for you guys, and you can do us a massive favour by smashing that subscribe button, joining the community, getting updates to all the latest videos from the YouTube shorts to the actual videos. It is well worth it, completely free, and you will not regret it. So to summarise Finding Dory then, for me, this is easily 6.6 out of 10 and an average film. There's nothing really too exciting about this film, and it just lacked that killer magical moments that the first movie had. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments down below. Is it good, bad, terrible, amazing? Let us know all that jazz down in those comments down below. And yet, if you haven't seen our Finding Nemo movie review, check that out right now.